Sam Raimi said he wants to make a Batman movie. Sam Raimi said he wants to make a Batman movie. Sam Raimi said he wants to make a Batman movie. Sam Raimi said he wants to make a Batman movie. Sam Raimi said he wants to make a Batman movie. Doesn't mean you have to spam. First and foremost, it's incredibly refreshing to have someone like James Gunn to be present on social media to respond to fans. I mean, this man is writing, storyboarding, directing, managing the entire creative side of the DCU, and he still has time to reply? We love him for that. Would I love that for his mental health? Well, that's what we're here to talk about today, because I know that I would personally lose my mind if I had to deal with the type of shit that he does on social media every single day. So here's a better man than me. While it is nice for him to squash rumors immediately, it also opens the door for a lot of fans to just borderline harass him about the same shit every day. Our first case study is Grant Gustin as the Flash in the DCU. My take on this, I thought Grant Gustin was a brilliant Barry Allen. Even though the writing wasn't really up to par during the later seasons, he gave it his all in his acting, and I truly respect him for that. That being said, I do not think it would be a wise choice to cast him again as the Flash in the DCU, because the DCU is a fresh restart for everything. Apart from all the James Gunn stuff that got carried over from the DCEU. And if you didn't already know, Grant Gustin is actually a huge fan of James Gunn. Grant Gustin's favorite superhero is actually Superman, not the Flash. So when the Superman movie was building hype, he was a very public advocate for the movie. So let's delve into some interactions between Mr. Gunn and some fans about this discourse. At James Gunn, please cast Grant Gustin as one of the heroes in the DCU. Such a great actor, all his talent is going to waste. Grant is an incredibly talented guy, performing now on Broadway, I believe, and is absolutely not going to waste just because he's not currently in a DC project. But of course, I'd love to work with him at some point. See, how much more succinct can you get with that? I mean, that is a perfect response from Mr. Gunn, and even the question wasn't really that bad at all. He's not begging for Grant Gustin to be the Flash, just any hero in the DCU. And you know, that's fine. Hey James, it seems you're following Grant Gustin on Instagram. Is this true that he is joining your DCU reboot as Barry Allen the Flash again, or is he playing a different comic book character? Please, thank you very much, James. Thumbs up times however many. Grant was following me and I liked him as an actor, so we chatted a bit and I followed him back. Very simple. Look at that, what a profesh. Can famous people just not follow each other if they're not working together? Is it that hard to comprehend sometimes? Also, this is just my theory, but I feel like some people just ask James Gunn, hey, is it true that this rumor blah blah blah, but it's not even a widespread rumor, it's just something they made up, but they just want James Gunn to answer. Like while eating breakfast, they'll be like, I would really like to see Mad Hatter in The Brave and the Bold, but there aren't any rumors surrounding Mad Hatter being in The Brave and the Bold. At James Gunn, are the rumors true that Mad Hatter will be joining the Brave and the Bold? Like, that's what I suspect most of these people do, you know what I mean? Hey Mr. Gunn, any reason Grant Gustin dyed his hair blonde? Eyebrow raise emoji. How in the world would I know why Grant dyed his hair? I get that James Gunn responds to a lot of fans, but it kind of weirds me out when people message in the style as if they're friends. I know this person said, hey Mr. Gunn, but the way they message him, I don't know, it's just so weird to me. It's weirdly parasocial in a way. Because if this was an actual journalist or something, the question would be more like, is there any link between Grant Gustin bleaching his hair blonde and joining the DCU as a certain DC character? But this guy doesn't even bother to capitalize Grant or Gustin, and no question marks or anything. Like, come on. Did we somehow lose respect on social media? And what I also really appreciate about James Gunn's responses is that they're very grammatically correct. I mean, even when I respond to comments sometimes, I'm just like, but James Gunn, he grew up in an era without autocorrect, so, and he has a writer's brain, so I guess that also helps. If Grant Gustin is not the Flash of the DCU, we will riot. If it's Elliot Page, you hate Flash fans even more. Hashtag Gustin or nothing. I keep being told people are gonna riot over things, but I am as of yet to see a riot. Love Grant, by the way. I don't know what Elliot has to do with anything. This is so, I respect to James Gunn for even responding to this. Like, what does Elliot Page have to do with anything? It just seems like a random stray to Elliot Page for no reason. And what does he mean, you hate Flash fans even more? Does James Gunn have a hate boner against Flash fans that I don't know about? Is he implying that James Gunn hates Flash fans because there isn't a Flash movie on the DCU schedule? I don't know if you remember, buddy, but we had a Flash movie around 2 to 3 years ago. Replying to @James Gunn, this gotta happen. It happened on TV for 9 seasons. Exactly. Now, I don't know what kind of tone that James Gunn was taking here. I'm not gonna read into it too much, but if it was me, I would be losing my fucking shit. Imagine using a poster of Grant Gustin as the Flash from the Flash show and then proposing it as if this is some big thing that should happen in the near future. Like you're literally using official promo material from an idea that has already happened. And I think James Gunn's response pretty much confirms that if Grant Gustin does join a DCU, he wouldn't be the Flash, or he wouldn't be Barry Allen at the very least. And you know what? I think that's the best decision. Because like I've already said, Grant Gustin is a great actor, and I feel like he would be wasted playing the exact same character again. And finally, Grant Gustin has actually addressed the blonde hair. As anyone that asks me knows, I will always welcome the opportunity to play the Flash again. Having said that, my hair is long and blonde for a project that has nothing to do with the Flash or any other superhero, lol. Love this energy though. By the way, Grant's comment was posted before that recent interaction between James Gunn and that fan. I feel like people just want attention from James Gunn, which is fair enough. He seems like a cool guy, but to borderline spam him about ideas that you think would be better than what he and his team can come up with, I assure you, that's not gonna happen. Now, another big discourse that's been basically fought over online since basically the announcement of the DCU was whether Robert Pattinson Batman / Matt Reeves Batman will be incorporated into the DCU. And since it did take a while for the Batman Part 2 to be written, there were lots of rumors about, oh, they've cancelled the Batman Part 2, DCU Batman, here we come. And then there were other people saying, oh, they fucking cancelled it so they can incorporate him into the DCU. If there was one thing you could count on during this time of international instability and turmoil, it's that there will always be fans to harass James Gunn about merging the DCU with Robert Pattinson Batman. I mean, how many times does James Gunn have to say that they're not gonna merge for people to believe that they're not gonna merge? The Penguin being one of the first DC Studios projects, not DCU, DC Studios projects, let's see what James Gunn had to say about his involvement with the show. We've been involved since they first started shooting, some of which has been giving our 2 cents to help make it better, but most of which has been getting out of the way and letting Matt and company do their thing. James Gunn is an artist producer, alright? He understands how hard it is for a director to get their vision across without all the studio executives getting their grabby hands on the storytelling. So of course he's gonna champion Matt Reeves' right to tell the story that he's been planning to tell since he started the Batman series. Please have a look at this article, James. Internet is buzzing with this topic. All of us DC fans want this, and I think you too. Wink. Love heart @James Gunn. All would seem to be pushing it. I really don't understand where the audacity comes from. All of us DC fans want this. Yeah, that's right, I can mind read anyone in the world, and that includes you too, James Gunn, apparently. The fucking audacity. I mean, this person probably wasn't trying to be malicious in any way, but you just gotta have some respect for the people you're trying to message, especially if you don't know them. And James Gunn is right. All would seem to be pushing it. Indeed. I don't think it would work, personally. Merging Robert Pattinson Batman with the DCU that was established in Superman, it would just feel way too jarring to me. Listen, I know we hate rich people and all that, and James Gunn is probably very rich as a producer now and signing on to be the head of DC Studios and from his directing history and stuff. But I do feel bad. Can you imagine the amount of stress that goes into every fucking decision he has to make? I mean, every decision that he and his team has to make. Because anything you do, it's gonna piss people off. Anything. God, I would seek therapy and meditation every fucking day. Is there a chance Robert Pattinson could play the DCU Batman, even as a sort of variant, disconnected from the Matt Reeves movies? No. I think James Gunn is just tired of answering the same question. I think I've seen some sort of variation of this question around 100 times over the past 6 months. There's just no air for rumors right now, and people are still asking. And of course, it's not just the Robert Pattinson and DCU merging stuff, you know? Everything to do with the brave and the bold, it's been an uphill battle for James Gunn, I must say. Never forget that a very comic accurate Batman costume was filmed but not used. It is possible to put Batman in the grey and blue and not have it look bad. This is the way at James Gunn. I don't know, looked good on a stand in the background, but I'm not sure I believe Batman spent countless hours carving obliques into his costume. Do I want a blue and grey suit? I think it would look cool if they did it right, but to say to James Gunn, this is the way. James Gunn is not your friend, okay? I'm sure he knows what he's doing more than you do. And I think James Gunn has never really been a fan of the sculpted muscle look, because if you look back on all the superhero movies he's done, none of the costumes had the sculpted muscles. So we're either moving on from that era or it's just not his taste. Either way, I think any good superhero costume can be done without the sculpted muscles. Also, I kind of disagree with this original poster. That costume doesn't look that good. It looks so plasticky. It looks like a toy? This looks like a hot toy. You know those realistic figures? It looks like one of them. And James Gunn's response, obviously very sarcastic, and I want to see more of these sarcastic responses. Maybe it's because I wouldn't have as much patience as he does when he responds to these people, but it would be so funny to see him just go like, no, fuck you. I've said this a million times already. Sam Raimi said he wants to make a Batman movie. Sam Raimi said he wants to make a Batman movie. Sam Raimi said he wants to make a Batman movie. Sam Raimi said he wants to make a Batman movie. Sam Raimi said he wants to make a Batman movie. Doesn't mean you have to spam. Listen, dude, if you really wanted Sam Raimi to direct a Batman movie, this probably brought his chances down to a 0. I think the rational person would just block this person, but I don't think James Gunn is that harsh, because that is a bit mean. Especially if this person is a fan. Social media is just making people lose any sort of social etiquette. And I know social media is a bit different, but you don't, like, what the fuck is this? And also, would Sam Raimi be a good choice for a Batman movie? I honestly don't know. Okay, the final discourse I want to talk about is getting Christina Hodson as the writer for The Brave and the Bold. Now, this isn't really directly related to James Gunn and his interactions on Threads or Instagram or whatever. I refrain from commenting on this even on my discussion channel, because I know I get a lot of comments about how I'm too critical about things, especially in my movie reviews or whatever, but inherently, I'm actually a pretty optimistic person when it comes to superhero projects. Like, even the worst looking movies, I would still have hope for it. Like Kraven the Hunter, I still had hope for it, like, before it came out. I know that sounds dumb. Probability wise, I knew it was gonna be bad, but I still had hope that it was gonna be a fun movie. It wasn't good, but... So when this was announced, the whole comic internet side just fucking went into a full meltdown.
Oh, this could be bad. Please tell me this is not true.
If you were excited for The Brave and the Bold, it might be time to table your expectations.
I'm not gonna lie, this movie might be doomed.
And honestly, I thought it was the biggest fucking overreaction of all time. Let me just read James Gunn's response about this and then we can talk about it after. I will only say anyone maligning Christina Hodson's screenwriting skills has almost certainly never read an actual screenplay by Christina Hodson. She's one of the writers who was with us early in the DCU planning stages. I don't think you can judge my writing based on films others directed, as massive liberties are sometimes taken. So if you can't read between the lines, what James Gunn is basically saying that between writing a script and the final product of a movie, there are so many stages and layers that can affect how the story and film develops. Because while a script is a fundamental part of the film, good directing will either elevate it or just fucking shit it into the ground. And then on top of directing, you have the director's music choices, you have the casting, you have the editing stage where scenes are fucking mixed around or cut out, and you have reshoots as well, which probably aren't being written by the original writer, so that affects the whole story. And then you have notes from studio executives. There are so many stages. There are so many stages that affect how a final film is produced. I am one of those people who think that the script for The Flash isn't the problem with The Flash at all. And I will eventually cover The Flash on this channel eventually. But to pin The Flash as an example as to why she shouldn't write The Brave and the Bold, I think that's so fucking dumb. Apart from the lasso bit, which God knows whether that was some fucking mandate from a studio executive to make it more MCU or whatever, but the emotional beats with Batman they're fucking good in that movie.
Take it from an old guy who's made a lot of mistakes. Do you want to live your past? Live your life.
And then people bring up Birds of Prey as well. I'm like, dude, I like that movie. I know the creative choices with the characters aren't close to the comics at all. Like, yeah, they kind of wasted Black Mask. Yeah, they wasted Cassandra Cain. But do we know for a fact that Christina Hodson is the one who made all those creative decisions? No. In fact, I fucking doubt it. Especially with Brave and the Bold, you have someone like James Gunn overlooking all the scripts and making sure that characters are done right. I really think this is such a non-issue. And then people bring up Bumblebee, how Bumblebee is a good movie. I haven't seen it, okay? But there you go. And I remember listening to a screenwriting podcast a while ago that interviewed Christina Hodson, and their host really loved the Flash script. And I trust them because they were industry experts. They've written a whole bunch of good shit. So who am I to judge? And it makes sense because I'm sure you remember this, before The Flash came out, everyone in the industry was like, dude, this movie's gonna be so fucking good. And according to other screenwriters in the industry, the script was amazing. Like, what more do you want? And also the fact that she was there since the early DCU planning stages, she's probably the best person for the job. Let's be honest. And then people bring up, oh, Andy Muschietti, he's directing The Brave and the Bold, so we got the Flash creative team back together for this movie. It's the Batman movie, you're gonna fuck this up. But the thing about the Flash is, do you know how many directors and how many rewrites that movie fucking went through? It was probably a steaming pile dog shit of a project idea that just got passed off to Hodson and Muschietti. And again, I'm just speculating. I could be wrong. Maybe everything was Andy Muschietti's idea. I highly doubt it, but you know. And apparently that apparently that's good. If anything, Andy Muschietti could have taken the Flash job because he knew that this would build a better relationship with Warner Bros. As a studio, so he has more freedom with his projects in the future, which I think is a smart business move. That's what Sydney Sweeney did with Madam Web. Can't wait for people in the comments to be like, oh yeah, you brought up Sydney Sweeney as a good example for producing in Hollywood. Argument invalid. But like I said before, I am an irrational optimist when it comes to superhero projects because I love superhero projects. Even something like, I don't know, Avengers Doomsday. I know a lot of people are like, oh god, it's gonna shit its pants. It's very possible, right? But I still have high hopes for it. I have high hopes for basically every superhero project, unless it's something I'm truly not interested in. But I will never be like, this is gonna turn out to be really shit. And also, good on James Gunn for standing up for her. I mean, Jesus Christ. I don't want to get political or whatever, but if it was Christopher Hodson, people wouldn't care as much. Let's be honest. Do you know how many writers in the MCU wrote a movie that wasn't perceived well by fans, but they went on to write a good movie, or they wrote a good movie in the past in the MCU? There's really so many factors that you can't just all fucking toss it on the right. So yeah, it's hard for me to just jump on this train and be like, oh fuck, this movie is done for. Because I'm never really like that. Unless it's someone that's well known to be a shitty person. If they were like, okay, we're bringing in Jared Leto to play fucking Mr. Freeze, I'll be like, oh, why? So yeah, I'm sure there were way worse examples than the ones I've showed in this video about James Gunn dealing with a bunch of bullshit online. But I feel like on social media, people don't really realize that it will be read by people. I don't know. But yeah, I always go into things optimistically. Like, this could be good. And there are lots of things I want to look forward to in the DCU. And I did make a video about the things I want to see in live action that we haven't gotten yet. So click that video or watch that video if you haven't already. And I'll see you next week. Goodbye.